Fast Break is not an easy game to get into. Trying to initially learn the menu and game controls decades after its release is difficult, and the current release doesn't do itself any favors with a lack of instructions on how to play it. Looking up the manual is a requirement. Thankfully, it exists on archive.org, which I'll link to in the video description. You may end up not figuring out how to stop it from being a two-player game at all, as I did, but you'll eventually discover you'll use B in the Jammers vs. Slammers highlight to pick out who's playing what. When you finally do get to the actual game, you may also decide to exit it, since the computer is brutal in its difficulty and you're likely to end up futilely attempting to score an initial point while seeing the computer dunk consistently from half court. However, if you do give yourself the time to learn the game controls, and especially if you have a retro games friend to join you in a two-player match, Fast Break is a quality early PC basketball game that's part of a series of generally well-regarded early sports games of the era, and basketball fans will appreciate the game's depth and complexity, including the ability to create your own offensive and defensive plays. Fast Break's graphical presentation isn't great either, although it is authentic to its era. It's framey and chuggy slow, not exactly an action-packed NBA playoff. Once the controls and gameplay are learned, though, its gameplay is pretty good, and two people who get the hang of it can actually have a really good time with the game. With me is 33S from the 33S Show on YouTube, who was my second player here for the review. So what did you think about Fast Break?
I thought it was fun-ish once you got the hang of the controls, but once I saw my dad try and do the AI, he only got 1 to 2 scores, and the AI got all of them. Which, yeah, they need to make the AI better. That's all.
Alright.
And if they had a recharge version, that would be great too.
The game offers numerous options, including the ability to set period time, design and commit plays, change your team roster between 2 players per position, and in its current release, the ability to play between essentially 3 graphical presentations. A CGA 4-color, which has the smoothest animations, relatively, a Hercules monochrome mode for people who want a brighter, whiter experience, and an EGA 16-color, which is probably the prettiest and best way to play the game, although it feels a bit slower than the other modes. There's also an again not functional Tandy mode, which is graphically bugged, similar to other MS-DOS releases on the VCS. I can't say that Fast Break is worth $7 in 2022, even if the game was the springboard for a lot of future sports game development. Not including the manual or even instructions about how to play it on the VCS is a shame, as it makes initially figuring things out particularly difficult. A keyboard or VCS companion app is required to navigate the game's menus. Quick bit on controls. You'll need to use space to commit in menus and generally use the A and B buttons in-game. To shoot, begin pressing A and then release to launch the ball. You'll automatically grab the ball from an opponent if you're in the correct position.
It's confusing on how it works. You hold down A or press it and it misses. I have no idea why it does that.
I did enjoy the early PC graphics, and once I got the hang of the game, it was fun to play with a second player. But this is a game that has a good chance to initially baffle and bounce, due to its somewhat incomprehensible menu controls and difficult AI. However, it is an authentic emulation of the game, so if you have fond memories of Fast Break, you'll have a good time here. Thanks for watching. I'll have more VCS videos in the coming weeks, so like and subscribe to spread the word, and get these videos in your feed. Have fun!